I just want to make sure all the gummy bears are out of the way.
Gummy bears are. The jelly beans are not.
Nobody likes to hear you're chewing food.
It's okay. Mental's not here, so I don't even know who to ask. Are we ready?
Yes,
we're waiting for you, and you hit record.
Okay.
Okay.
Welcome to Everyone Racers, the show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture. It doesn't matter what kind of Lemma Champ or Lucky Track Dog League you run, SCC or NASA, we won't discriminate, as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself. Join us each week for tech discussion, tips, tricks, news and notes in the world of amateur endurance racing, whether it's on the spot, hella sweet, and we're lucky enough, and Chrissy gives us just the tip. We're sure you'll giggle a little and learn even less. Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Jeff. And there is no Mental. It's like the week of, or the month of lack of hosts or something. I don't know.
Oh, well.
Anyway, we are Everyone Racers, or at least 3/4 of Everyone Racers. Thanks for coming back and listening to a Richard Petty episode of our podcast. It's episode 200, which is the number of NASCAR Cup races the King has won in his career as a driver. So if you're not driving a NASCAR or even a regular car, jump on our E1R bingo card, link in the show notes. Without Mental here, though, I don't think you're going to win.
Probably not.
If anybody wins on a Mentalist episode, that's going to be surprising.
Yeah, there's so many mental specific things because mental.
That's true.
Yeah.
Mess up.
Okay.
You have to mess up and all that good stuff.
Hey, for a change, let's get right to Chrissy.
Weird. And
Chrissy,
I will go quickly because I want to hear your
on?
story. So this weekend I helped, we did a quick jaunt to the beach. It was hella hot on Saturday here. You can check that off in your bingo card. It was really hot and we decided we needed to get away. So we took a day off, which was awesome. Sunday we did all kinds of car work. So I assisted with, the Corvette cleaning. We had mostly, we're getting all the interiors in. Hopefully, if you saw on social medias, we did a really good job on getting all of the interior, just about all of the interior into the Corvette. I really like to, most of the stuff was fairly clean, so it wasn't the worst, but it's nice to be able to like go and get the Q-tips out and like detail a little bit just when you're putting all the parts back in. So then you get in, and I like to know that it's my grossness if it's in there and it's not somebody else's. So we did that. I cleaned and conditioned the leather seats and all. So yeah, it was awesome.
Has this car run yet?
Yeah. It runs.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Got it.
Yeah. The only thing is keeping it from was a brake line. Did you fix that? Well, you can talk about that. Whatever. He'll tell you when he's working on what Chris is working on. I also started with the Mazda passenger harness mounts and started working on the seat sliding, which Chris is going to talk about that. And so I started working on that, drilling the holes underneath the car, which sucks when you have to be under the car and in the car at the same time. Fortunately, I have long arms, so it didn't really affect me. But usually it's a 2-person job and that's nice. But the seat's not in, so it's nicer to put the sub belts in when you don't have a passenger seat already having a seat in.
Yes. And this is obviously all prepping for our track weekend.
Yay! So yeah, we're trying to get ready and we're excited to have, when you're at HPDs, it's always great to have a passenger, regardless on if you are training each other or you are just there to see the track and see how fast people go. So yeah, that's what I did. Jeff, I can't wait to hear about your story. Go ahead.
Well, it is 2 weeks of updates. So 2 weeks, I bought 2 cars, sort of. I know. What? Yeah, in a
That's definitely on the bingo card somewhere. Someone buys
a car. So we all know that the Veloster N has been on my wheelhouse and I've been searching for it. And I pulled the trigger on a Carvana purchase and I was away. The reason I wasn't on the podcast last week was that I was away at Scout Camp. And I'll just say briefly that Scout Camp was rainy and terrible. My son was full of homesickness and he had a angry crying fit where he screamed, "This place is terrible. There's nothing here but rocks and merit badges. and all the kids around him were like, hey, he's not wrong. This place is pretty terrible. And you forgot the bugs.
Was
Josh.
was it a new place?
We go to a different place every year.
Oh.
And that's part of the problem. When you're the new person, you get the lousy site. And then it was a rainy week. And I don't want to go too deep into Boy Scout. This is not everyone Boy Scouts, but due to the COVID, they're extremely understaffed, because where do you get your staff from when you're at camp is the campers from the previous year. So because they had no staff, they were like, no camp last year, they were way down on staff. So things kept getting canceled, and it was a lot of waiting in line. And then like if there was one clap of thunder, it was like, oh well, cancel half the crap because we didn't have the staff to run it anyway. So but the second half of the week got nice and bright, and Josh finished 4 out of 5 of his merit badges. So
can we count this as general Wakeman problems for Josh?
Sure.
It's on the bingo card. I got to do.
At one point, he was crying and fishing at the same time. I have a great picture of it.
I mean, he did post a few pictures, and it did look like he wasn't
I didn't
having
post any of the crying pictures.
Oh, I'm sure. No, but the pictures some of that you didn't look like everybody was having a good time. Yeah. It's one of those things you've planned for a long time. You can't assume what you can't cancel because of the weather, right?
Yeah,
like you have to go either way.
Okay, so there's Josh.
Can't really see his face, but
yeah.
I believe you.
I believe you. Yeah.
Crying while fishing.
And fishing.
Yes. He was trying to get fishing merit badges, fishing merit badge, and you had to catch, cut, clean, and cook a fish.
Get out!
Like there was other things to do. There was a bunch of knots to do and everything. So we had to catch the fish, and I had like pictures of previous fishing, and then like on Friday, it was like the sun came out and he was feeling better, and we caught like fish left and right, and he hacked one up without even, without waiting a moment. He was like, "Yeah, I'll cut it."
It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's really good. So anyway, back to the car stuff. Sorry, I didn't mean to go down that rabbit hole. So I got a 1,407 mile 2020 Hyundai Veloster N in performance blue. It arrived Saturday after Scout Camp, and I have been beating the piss out of it since I got it. I have done things that should get my license revoked immediately. I've revved to Joey 5-0 in the other lane. I've shown everyone how it pops out of the exhaust. My coworkers are like, dude, aren't you a little old to be driving a car like this? Like,
oh no.
Yes, it's really, it's kind of the performance blue is kind of flashy. And so
it looks great though.
It does.
That's the only car to get. It's the only color to get.
Yeah. It's the hardest color to get. So I was really happy that I found it. And I can't remember what I said in real life and on the podcast, so I apologize if this is redundant. But January 24th is when I drove one, and I said, this is the next car I want. So it took me 6 months to get it. And I was literally, the last time I was on this podcast, I saw it. I showed it to my wife before the podcast, and she said, quit bitching and just buy it.
That's great.
So after the podcast, I bought it. So, and we're going to talk about that later, so I don't want to go too far into it. But I also helped my brother purchase a 2006 NC Miata with 200,000 miles on the kilometer or on the clock. It's in pretty good shape. I gave him the same advice I gave myself, and I told him to beat the piss out of it for the next couple of days so we can find the flaws. And he did. He managed to get it to throw some codes for a miss, and we threw some plugs in it, and it hasn't returned. So success all around.
That's what we did in Chrissy's Mazda at the track. It was throwing misfire in 3. Tried swapping coils. I didn't do it. So I put new NGK magic plugs in and fresh injectors, and all gone.
Yeah, we flopped the coil so that if it came back on the other, if it came back on 2, it was on 3. If it came back on 2, we would know it was the coil. But it hasn't come back. So
this is also 3 on our car. It's the same motor, basically. So
yeah,
there we go. Real consumer advice: what to do when your MZR has a cylinder 3 misfire code.
Yeah, I told Jim, I said, I think this is the same as in the Mazda 3, but it's a 2-liter MZR.
Mm-hmm.
So little
Yeah.
different.
Very close.
Yeah.
The 2.5 bolts in.
Well, we will write that down in case this one pops.
Yeah.
So, Chris, tell us more about this Corvette.
Corvette, yeah. Yes, it does run. It does run. It'll fire right up, no problem. I've
Now,
got
did
up
it run when you got it? Because I haven't heard
No.
you actually talking about it running before.
No. Remember that picture of what the fuel pump looked like?
Oh, yes, I remember you fixed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was bad. But after that, I got the plugs. Plugs were out. Put oil in it. Turned it over by hand. Everything seemed fine. Cranked it without anything. Without any fuel or spark. Oil pressure came right up. So put it all back together. Fired up. It was only running on. It was running a little rough at first, and so I fixed the vacuum leak to let it kind of sort of idle. And while I had the air cleaner off, and noticed that only one of the two throttle body injectors was firing, so I swapped them left to right to see if it was wire or injector. And what do you know? They both worked. So okay, now
plug.
who knows? Now it runs fine, fires right up, idles well, revs up well, and got it up all the way up to temp. Nothing blew. Cooling fan came on. It's ready. Like that
and
engine.
You
seems
picked
fine.
a lot of slop out of the tank, right?
Oh yeah. But I think I got it all though. That's the thing. It's pretty much all out. So that's good. We had the interior part. A lot of the plastics in the interior were pretty worn. So an advantage of a common enthusiast car that gets kind of restored and cared for by the jorts crowd is anything you want to make it look nicer is available. So I was able to get the exact color matched, in theory, spray paint for plastics. So
it was amazing.
Yeah, and repainted almost all the hard plastics.
Looks brand new.
In the interior.
It looks brand new.
Yeah, like
and in one coat, you
covers
did
three.
Yeah,
the armrest, like stuff like that. It looks fantastic. And the doors we just scrubbed with simple green and a brush and stuff. They clean right up. So it actually looks quite nice inside now, and all back together, and doesn't smell weird, and it's totally fine. But
so my friend who is doing the guy. Okay, so the kid I taught to drive stick, who is also restoring a C4, had the dickens of a time getting a starter, and ended up having to rebuild the starter at his house because he couldn't get a reman. Yeah. And it was a weird 1 year starter that he was the 86 didn't fit and the 85 didn't fit.
You did have this problem with the fuel. No, the slave cylinder.
Yeah, it's true. That's another thing.
You did have that.
I don't even have on my list. Put the new clutch master in. Went to put the clutch saving cylinder in that I had bought from Rock Auto, and the attachment for the hose to the slave cylinder totally different.
I don't know if Chrissy is doing Pac-Man motions with her hand.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do it. Doesn't
whether
fit.
that's
It
like
don't
a
fit.
sexual thing.
Don't fit.
I don't know what's going
It
on.
don't fit.
Yeah, the one that Rock Auto gave me should have had a an end of line flared fitting screwing into it. The one I got was more like what you see on the end of a brake caliper, where it's like a flat bit with crush washers that bolts to the side of it with a banjo bolt.
Banjo bolt. Yeah.
So I ended up having to take the old one apart, which it didn't want to come apart. It was all crusty. So that involved oil
compressed
and
air,
100 pounds of compressed air in the hole to get it away. It shoot it out.
I've played that game.
Right. So and then
well, I had it in my hand, out by the compressor. So, but I had to work it in and out a bunch of times. I had to clean it. And anyway, rebuilt it using the parts from the new one in the old housing. Works great. No problem there.
Yeah.
All new brake rubber hoses are on because I just thought that was a good idea.
Good idea. Yeah.
The front brakes were not releasing all the way. So I've got all those in, got new front calipers on. And where we are now is I got new tires mounted to the wheels. That's done. All that we need right now is a rear hardline that is halfway in, and bleed the brakes, a left front lower ball joint that I found a little slop in, and a right front wheel bearing I found a tiny bit of play in. I have all the parts, but that's why it's not going to pit, is really because I found the ball joint and wheel bearing, and it didn't have any time to sort it. I didn't want to sorting it to be Chrissy driving it 5 hours.
Yeah, I have to drive it 5 hours. One of us has to commit to driving it, and I'm not towing. So there's that. Yeah.
We could do a track night in America, local.
We should
with it.
We absolutely should.
And Jen can bring her Corvette.
Yeah.
Yours is faster. Mine is just rad. Yep.
The dash is amazing. Gauges.
Yeah.
It's all.
Does it have like the big long, like hockey stick, like shaped
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
tachometer?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so rad.
That is
It's a
rad.
shame that the closest rad is not close to here, but and it's
Well, they're announcing new dates all the time, so maybe they will come east. Who knows?
yeah, I hope
Well,
so.
there's one in Connecticut, but it's a weekend we're in New Hampshire.
Oh.
Anyway, and in the Mazda, I made passenger seat mounts by hacking up the stock Mazda seat. It's not the rails; it's the brackets the rails bolt to. Use those, hacked them. It was a U shape and made it into an L shape. Put the race seat brackets on that, welded it all together. That's all in. That's fine. Works great. I made a new exhaust hanger for the Mazda, so that's all loaded up in the trailer, ready to go.
Nice.
So I've been doing a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been. All I did was rocks and force my son to fish while he cried. So you were way more productive.
You'll
And
fish and you'll be
swatted
happy
bugs.
about it. Yeah.
Oh, I. By the way, at least each load of laundry needed to be washed at least 3 times before they stopped smelling. It was terrible.
Seriously,
Of your manly musk or of
No,
bugs?
like the mud and
Campfire.
just the. We were wet it rained every day on us, and it was just
totally
1,000
sounds
degrees.
just.
It was terrible.
Oh, that sounds absolutely miserable.
Absolutely miserable, but it's all
Wow.
right. It's all over. So, and I want to say, Matt did a fantastic job last week. The show is great.
Well, at that listener feedback, you can give us your feedback.
Oh, you're sorry. I'll hold it.
Okay.
News and notes.
So I didn't write this because it says, guess what, Chrissy? I bet your race car has a recall on it. I'll tell you how it works out at the end because I know the answer. More than
Please.
250,000 Mazda 3s are being recalled in the U.S. to fix problems with a logo that can shatter in the event of a driver's airbag deployment. Problem affects cars from 04 through 07 model years and only involves the Mazda logo on the steering wheel airbag module, which we still have the cover on ours, even though there's no airbag.
I insisted on putting it back.
Absolutely.
Actually,
Yep. Mazda issued a statement saying the problem is due to an improper material specification that can cause the plastic steering wheel logo to become brittle over time. In mid-2006, the automaker changed to a higher quality logo that it says will not be subject to the problem. And the answer is we're clear. Our car was built in like mid-07. So
Got it. I wasn't sure.
we
what
have
date
the
you called.
updated spec, the higher quality Mazda logo on the cover on our
seems
steering wheel.
fine. So it's fine, and even if it falls out,
the
just,
airbag isn't under there anyway.
Nope.
So.
No,
Nope, it's not.
It's on
no,
the
but
stairs
if
into
if
the
any
garage,
of
'cause
right, if any of our listeners know how to get legally to get rid of an airbag, we'll be happy to understand what that is.
Oh, we know how to get rid of it.
Legally,
We have a
who's
seat-
sitting on it?
I will.
a
I've already
helmet.
said I will put on my helmet in a quality seat and take the ride.
No.
So I don't want to break a seat. How about that crappy Kirky? Is
And
that
what
still
happens
around?
if you get
Don't worry
hurt?
about Jeff.
Yeah.
I don't want to break the seat.
I'm just
Oh boy, that's $100 hand cart.
That's right. Exactly.
I'm going to change topics very quickly before people know what that joke is.
If they
Starting
don't,
July
then it's a shame.
19th, which has already happened. It's the 22nd, I think. California will use its mandatory biannual emissions testing to look for vehicles with modified ECU software and fail vehicle that has a tune that hasn't been approved by the CARB board. First, they do a visual inspection, then they do a tailpipe sniff on the roller diner, then an ECU check. So what this means is, and this has come up on the forums everywhere. Car Bibles broke the story last Thursday, and on Reddit, everyone is basically saying this sucks because I could pass the smog check and still fail. So I could be producing the right, the right amount of particulates and NOx and all that other stuff, but they'll still fail me because I don't have a CARB approved tune. So this sucks. Because it's not really increasing emission standards. And I don't know what's going on with this. This is kind of scary, especially for those people who bought used cars and have no idea what tune is on it. They could have it could be, they could be not even, I don't know. Yeah. What do you think of all this?
I really just want to sing right now.
Yeah. What are you going to sing?
That's the tune that I'm singing. That tune.
Oh, it has nothing to do with my story. You're just singing a tune in your head.
you keep talking about a tune and you're not sure which tune.
Uh,
I missed it.
oh, you know what it is? It's an auto tune.
Oh.
Where's T-Pain? Where's
Damn.
T-Pain when we need him?
Damn.
Yeah.
No, an ECU tune. So I don't know. I
Got it.
Yes.
Bad.
We knew this was going to come because enough people are abusing the system otherwise for off-road only stuff. They put it on. There you go. So what do you do?
Yeah,
I mean, you can just not move to the People's Republic of California,
but what happens in California eventually happens everywhere.
to a point. Not
at
in
some
some
point.
parts. Some parts,
True.
definitely not.
Yeah.
That would be a long time before.
tune from my cold dead hands.
Well, this is more reason, and I'll just shout it out. Go ahead and write your local congressman and tell him to pass the RPM Act, which will protect our race cars and allow us to do whatever the frick we want for things we don't drive on the street. So
Yep.
there it is.
Call.
And frankly, street cars now are getting so damn good. Like you can't just bolt on a couple things and gain 30 horsepower like you used to be able to on so many things. Like, I don't know. Jeff, does you feel like your Veloster needs more power?
Nope.
Chrissy, do you think your Mercedes needs more power?
No,
Yeah.
it's fine.
There you go.
I mean, if it did, then I would just get an E63, so that'd be fine,
That's true.
right? Anyway,
Yep.
Okay, let's move on to one of my favorite topics, and this is a big one. So we've all seen the crash, but the internet will be the internet, and everyone has their opinion on and who to blame. Is it Verstappen? Is it Hamilton? And who with that racing incident during the British Grand Prix? Now, Max and Lewis are making their voices heard. After checking out of the hospital, dizzy, bruised, and battered, and otherwise unhurt from following his 51G crash, Verstappen
How
slammed
do they
Hamilton.
know it's 51G? I guess
Nah,
they have
a lot
all
of
the sensors, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of
Seriously.
estimating and made it sound big, and he was going pretty fast anyway. So Verstappen slammed Hamilton for wildly celebrating in his home win. Verstappen said he watched Hamilton's raucous celebrations from the TV on the TV from the hospital, which he described disrespectful and unsportsmanlike. However, Hamilton reacted by calling Verstappen very aggressive and adding he went on to win after taking the resulting 10-second penalty on the chin. I was like, I'm not going to let anything get in the way of the crowd's enjoyment of the weekend and the national anthem and the British flag. And this is exactly what I said. I agreed with Verstappen on this. Not the crash. I just thought that his celebrations were
His celebration was a little.
I mean, going over all the barriers, really, it's a little much.
He hasn't had as much to celebrate this year.
Sure, but he punted
Hasn't had any fans to celebrate with, and two.
Okay,
I
fine.
think that's more what it's about.
Sure.
If this was in Azerbaijan, Baku, I don't think he would have been doing anything of the sort. But 100,000 people in England, like he got caught up in the emotions of it. Winning a race at the last second is very dramatic.
And it was a very dramatic win.
Yeah.
So I've said a lot. I'm a Verstappen fan. I will not give my percentages on the air because that'll just start an internet fight. Hamilton is a really good dude. You can't not like him.
I know. Isn't that the worst?
Like I want to root for the underdog, and I want to say, damn you, Hamilton, and all your wins.
That's why I like Bottas.
Guy's really good, and he's a great sportsman. So, yeah, maybe he got a little carried away. Whatever.
Okay. Great.
Upcoming races.
Lemons is hitting the trifecta this weekend. What a weekend. Friday kicks off the Rust Belt Ramble Rally with 57 cars registered. That's fantastic. Our fifth host, Eric Rude, gave us his sentiment of what he knows. We'll hopefully meet him at the start. And what a list. Get ready. Normally, like half of these, like, oh, this would be good, but then it gets better. A 72 Oldsmobile Vista Cruiser even has a little like roof skylight. A 57 Howe Defender. Anybody know what that is?
I don't even know what that is.
That's a fire truck. It is a fire truck. It's a fire truck. 86 Mercury Marquee wagon. Like, that's boring in this crowd. A 68 Bremen Mini Mark Shriners Edition. Any ideas?
A little Shriner car?
No.
Like one of those little go-kart
Wouldn't that be
things?
nice? It's a fiberglass kit car that looks like looks like the cross between the fiberglass kit cars of the Mercedes 1929 Mercedes Gazelle and the MGTD replicas. It's like a nondescript.
That's kind of cool.
You didn't
old
actually
car.
Did you know this?
I just had to Google it.
You had to Google it.
Right. 1937 Buick Special. I wonder if this one has a 500 cubic inch Cadillac engine in it too.
Probably not.
Probably not. A 1990 Buick Riata. 83 Oldsmobile Delta 88 Royale with cheese.
Nice.
04 Kia Amante. Which
That's terrible on this
Exactly.
list. That is like the worst car.
Yep. 1984 mostly American made bus ? It was a truck, then a car, now a bus. Who knows? A 63 Chevy Greenbrier. Any ideas?
Nope.
No, that's a truck also, I believe.
It's a Corvair van.
Wow.
Oh.
Or maybe a wagon. Van or wagon. Either way, Corvair.
Wow.
And a 58 Chrysler Saratoga. Nothing but class. And Eric says, Jeff Stobbs has begged for a fire truck for years, and we have 2 of them. The Bad Decisions 57 How is going to be something special. No synchros, no roof, no power, no parts availability. Top speed probably of 40 or 50, which will feel like 700 in that thing. And he's probably right. Yep.
And also, as I was looking through this list, I was excited for 1, then I found 2 Cutlass Sierras, and one of them has a team name of Doris the Explorer.
Nice. Scott McMichael will be out there. He's driving with his son in a very beige LTD. So good luck, Scott.
Oh, yeah. He's run that at rallies before.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I thought that was a different one.
It looks like his old one, but hey,
Yeah.
whatever. Big Malaise era, perfect for the Rust Belt ramble.
Yeah. And he's taking his sons along, so that's great. Or
Yeah.
single son, at least.
Even better. Good.
Nice. So Saturday is the Michigan Concours de Le Mans in the Inn at St. John's, Plymouth, Michigan. I don't know where the state and the town ends on that. Is it St. John's at Plymouth? I don't know. I'm sure it'll be great. I'm not sure how many cars will be there, who's going to be there, but we'll let you know when we find out, and we'll at least run down the winners because they do a great internet presence. So check it out on Instagram, the Concours de Le Mans.
That's probably the best place to see all of the pictures. Didn't have a list for that one. Sorry about that.
Plymouth, Michigan is just kind of west of Detroit, but kind of between Detroit and Ann Arbor. That's
So a lot of American will be there, probably.
Oh yeah.
Weird American.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and of course, they're racing at Oregon Raceway Park for the Pacific Northwest. We have 43 cars. Get this. Listen to this list. 2 BMWs.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right?
that's
One-
good.
1 Miata. 2 Hondas. 0 Porsches. And we have some sentiment from Rude. They have the Lemon's first Edsel, which I think has an American V8, a Ranjezi, that sounds better, themed Mini that is supposed to...
Yeah, Rajneeshi.
Rajneeshi.
Thank you, Rajneeshi. It's supposed to look like a Rajneeshi Rolls Royce, a low road Zora Dumkov Lemon Bird extended family-ish with 5 amazing cars. Rookies with a Grand Marquis is always a good time. Rookies with an X19, always a bad time.
Oh, that's a mistake.
Yeah.
Lots of VWs, including a Corrado, which I'm sure is going to fail very quickly. 1 BMW that has a Volvo engine, and it's the only Volvo that has a BMW engine. I apologize. And Chuck Donnelly's Studebaker, which is amazing. And lastly, he said this should be the biggest Class C field percentage ever. There's not very many A-class cars, and Pacific Northwest has thrown down the gauntlet to Colorado. Should be
The
a good
things
race.
rust in the Pacific Northwest. There's a lot of
No,
rain, but
they
they
don't
don't
rust.
like salt the roads, right?
No. Nope. If anything, they rust kind of from the top down-ish if they're near the coast. But if not, no, they just grow moss.
Yeah.
And various assorted
Patina.
lichens. Yes.
Well, because nothing rusts in Colorado. It's like the driest
Lichens.
atmosphere, in the world. Anyway, recent results. AER, American Endurance Racing, ran the full VIR course, and I'm sure it was a great race, and likely somebody won. But we have Mental's not here, and we don't know how to look up AER results.
We
So-
tried and couldn't find them.
I couldn't find them anywhere. So
They
they were there.
have a Facebook
Here's the results.
page.
A BMW won. Another BMW took second. Another BMW took third, and everyone else crashed. That's the result.
How about a Porsche? No Porsches win? No.
No, probably.
I don't know. Those idiots in the Mitsubishi Eclipses who cheat tend to win every now and then. So maybe, who knows?
I'm sorry, I couldn't.
It's
find
on
them.
the East Coast. So.
If somebody knows where to find it, I could have asked people, but I was trying to do it tonight, so I didn't see them.
Who cares? Keep going.
Okay.
Yep.
Results don't matter. AER. It was fun. They went to VIR.
Yeah, right. And I didn't realize they were on full course. Champ Car hit the course at Nelson's Ledges Saturday. First was 90racing.com. Stupid name. With 302 laps, 1 lap back was the Team Sailing Mustard in a Boxster, and 2 laps back from them was the Visceral Racing in an 87.944. On Sunday, first and second went to Visceral Racing, which is always such a fun time, both in Porsches, 2 laps apart. Those 2 cars were 2 laps apart. Third was Team Sailing Ketchup in a Boxster.
So do you really feel like you're a chump when your professional team in a professionally prepared Boxster loses to somebody in an 87.944?
Hopefully.
Lucky Dog was back east for race 2 of the 3-event Carolina Endurance Cup. They ran the Charlotte Roval. Saturday, first was our friends and teammates from Squirtin' Coronas, 2 laps back. Oh, sorry, from the Squirtin' Coronas. That was the little SLK.
SLK.
Right?
Yeah, it was just Darren and Drew Iron Manning that thing.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, they did a great job.
Nice. 2 laps back, Hot Rod Lincoln, and then 7 laps back was Ghent Racing, Gent. We do not know what they had. We assume those guys had a Lincoln, but who knows what Ghent had. At this rate, our friends from Apocalyptic Racing also had a huge hit in the front end, but decided they had enough time to fix it and got back out there for Sunday's race. So you rarely hear wrenching stories from other series, but get to the East Coast. And
did you see the crash?
I did not. I had 0 bars at scout camp. I was like, I had to stand on a rock and put my foot up just to send text messages.
Okay. I saw the pictures. It was pretty bad. I thought it was terminal. And then they were just like, well, let's just try it. And they went back on Sunday.
What car was it from Apocalyptic? Because they have a couple.
The blue
300Z?
ZX, yeah.
280ZX.
Or 280ZX.
280ZX, yeah.
Z cars, man, they are cursed, maybe.
Especially with GM engines, which this one is.
Because they have an Ecotech, right?
Yeah.
Saturday, first was Flying Moose. 12 laps back was HMD Racing. And then Hot Rod Lincoln came in third again. And the Cadillac XLR finished 13th on Saturday and 5th on Sunday.
Wow.
Again, if someone beats you in a Lincoln and a shitty Volvo and you have an XLR, time to rethink your life.
Well, hey, at least an XLR is out there. I'll give it credit for that. Lastly, WRL was at Road Atlanta. Saturday first was Irish Mike's, 16 seconds back was ACI, and then Kingpin Racing 24 seconds behind them. Sunday first was Team GTR 99, apparently 1.4 seconds ahead of ACI Motorsports. Whew, good for them. 2 laps behind them was ACP. I don't know what kind of car any of these people had.
I don't either.
But there you go.
It was on Race Monitor. I mean, I showed him just to make sure. I was like, am I reading this right? Just to make sure.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Listener feedback time. Do you want me to do mine?
Yeah, that's why it's blue.
I love the show. I'm red. I'm green. So I was like, why is
green?
I'm green.
Sorry.
So I'm like, Mental, go ahead and read it.
Oh, wait.
Crickets,
Yeah, let's hear Jeff. Your listener feedback.
Okay, so my listener feedback. Matt is great. You should have him on all the time and fire me.
No. We need someone with a degree in radio and communications here.
So he can hold up a little hand radio. Because we had to find our little hand radio last time when you weren't here.
I know. It was a good show. I loved it. I'd listen to it again and again if I wasn't on the podcast. While we were working... this is you. While you guys were working on the Mazda and Corvette on Sunday, Chrissy asked, what you working on? And Bill and Vicky were prepping 3 cars for Pit Race HPDE. One of them, Jim will be driving because his, Blackbird Racing NC Miata roll bar will not be in on time. So, so he is prepping, and they're prepping El Jefe for the race at Thompson for their first ever all-female team event. Well, I mean, we know they have Vicky
and Jen.
So I wonder if they're bring in a couple of hot shoes.
I've seen a few pictures of the team standing at the airport, but I don't know who they are.
We'll find out this weekend. Great.
They actually interviewed a couple of female racers recently. I wonder if that's who they are.
Maybe. James M was doing fire suppression, cool shirt, AccuSump, race oil pan, and other cheaty stuff for Thompson on his Corvette. We saw that in Corvette magazine, I'm pretty sure.
Corvette magazine.
Yep.
Yeah, I think he had both of his Corvettes totally busted ass at last time at Thompson. So
I think that's what happens with Corvettes. Yeah.
Tyler S. he says, just use nearly all the tools I have, including fire and lots of brush and waste and gasoline and a propane torch to get one bolt loose.
I've had those weekends.
No.
Yeah.
Matt Farinchek of Matt Farinchek Motorsports says he checked the T-Bird out to make sure it's still square after one of our guys got broadsided at NJMP.
Eric, that's right. Eric K delivered a newer Honda CR-V to his parents and picked up his Cayman with the new Öhlins suspension. Fancy.
Yeah, it looks pretty.
Yeah, keep building that thing for the next owner.
Yep.
Nate A said he's trying to fit his 6'4" frame into an NC Miata. Are you bolting the seat mounts straight to the floor pan? Not plan.
We don't know yet. We haven't put Jim in with the roll bar yet, so we don't know.
Jim, when he sat, his regular head was basically right in line with the regular roll hoop things. So his helmeted head should fit pretty far below the Blackbird bar, because I think they said it's like 3 inches higher than the regular bar. So
that's good. And Jim has a very his butthole to crown measurement is the highest of all of us. So we keep having to lower seats and cars to get it to fit. Yeah.
I heard Donnie was at Daytona. I'm sure it was ruined because of his presence.
Probably.
He probably brought a gator and bath salts and ate somebody's face and then vacuumed the floor.
It's about right.
Right.
And they did quadratic equations in the ashes.
Burnt down the Applebee's, all those things.
Yeah.
Okay. I suck at racing. Lemons. I race.
No.
Nothing, right?
Nope. Another season coming at some point.
Squadouche.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a little bit of time off.
Yes.
Racers, people that...
Do we ever take a Monday off?
No, heck no, we didn't.
No.
Nope. We don't always all go, but we always have it. So we did something different, and we had 2 different kinds of NASCARs at Watkins Glen Cup Course. The first was newer Cup cars, and then Xfinity cars. From the iRacing correspondent, the War Burglar Aaron, he said, so the first race of Cup cars, Lady A stole it. Lady A did a great job of surviving the carnage. It was me leading. This is Aaron speaking, leading, and then Spencer in second until I got taken out by lap traffic. And Spencer spun a few times after leading half of the race. He spun in the last turn, chasing down Lady A. Good job. That's fantastic.
Lady A bought a sim a week ago. She literally did not have a steering wheel set up.
No.
Throughout all of COVID and got it at the last second. So
I didn't realize she had updated her. She
was doing regular controllers.
Yeah, that's why there's plenty of races where she and I sat at the back and didn't do very well. But that makes a lot of sense and good for her. And then there was an Xfinity race, some fat burger stealing something snatched at the top spot. Then me and Spencer and Santiago battled out for second in the race. Spencer and I pulled away. He passed me for the lead, spun a few times, and that was that.
Oh.
Good time by all.
Yeah. Santiago won some trophy.
Yeah,
at the
I
last
forgot to add that in here.
We should have put that in there. We will put it in for next week. He also got a new livery for his FRS or whatever the thing is, and it looks pretty hot. It's blue and red.
You know who never spins when they have the lead of the race?
Good idea.
It's Chrissy's mom.
Yep.
True.
Let's keep it that way.
Yep. Don't spin.
Hi. Yep.
Nice. Special announcement. For those of you playing at home, this is our 200th show. And we had planned to like do a big celebration, but then it seemed weird because like Mental's not going to be here for a couple of weeks, and we didn't want to do it without him. So we are going to celebrate our 200th episode with a live Ask Me Anything, but it's going to be like episode 204. Do we know what date that's going to be? Whatever date he comes back. I don't know.
It's like September.
It'll be like mid-August, like after our Thompson show. Yeah, like August 18th, 19th ish.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a live show. We're going to do an Ask Me Anything. That means you can start writing in your questions now. Hit us up on the social media. Say, I went in on the live show, or here's a question I really want you to answer. Ask Me Anything, show 204. So we got 4 shows till we get there. But each week between now and then, without Mental, we're going to do a little bit of reminiscing. And we're going to talk about just a few things to remind us about the 200 episodes. Tonight's prompt is, what was your favorite guest and why? Would you like me to go first or Chris? Because I see what you got going there. I like yours because yours is earlier than mine.
Okay, I'll go. I'll say it was Bill. And Bill's now going, what? Really?
He's going, me?
Yeah. Oh,
they like me.
I know, right? And I'll say this because it was early on, like fairly, really, like show 20 or 15 or something like that. And I think it really helped set the tone for the future of the show and where we're going with it and our involvement in Lemons and whatnot, and also helped make some great new friends. So, yeah, I think that was great.
That is a great result of the podcast. We've made so many friends that we would have seen him in Meat Space like once a year and not really know, been like, oh, that's that guy. But we really get to know them through interacting with the show. So that's why it's cool. And I'm going to say something totally different and off the wall. And it's a slightly more recent one and slightly more obvious, I guess. And that's Jay Lamb. I really loved having Jay on the show because we really didn't talk about Lemons and Lemons races too much. We really got to talk about some of his earlier career as a journalist and, car culture stuff and electric car stuff. So it was really great because every time I see Jay on anything, what he talks about is Lemons. So since we kind of already knew that, we kind of like said, okay, here's the Lemon stuff. Now let's turn left and talk about this other stuff. So, yeah, I mean, that was pre-COVID, right?
Yeah.
So that was well over a year and a half ago. It was probably 50 shows ago. And he talked about the impending electric race car teams that were going to try and win Lemons. And we have yet to see a really good effort.
Nope.
So yeah, still very valid. So go back and check out the Jay Lamb show.
Yeah, Jay's just an interesting person, just
absolutely
outside of the Lemon stuff. Yeah.
This is a struggle. I don't know how to pick one. Like, how do you pick one?
Pick a favorite, not necessarily the favorite.
Well, I will pick 2. Spank.
Yes.
Because. Yep. So, and it's one of those things like, because we know him and we, all of you, if you've watched it, you didn't get to see all the funny things that were happening. It was such a shtick. He's like the nicest, calmest, like pretty low key guy for the most part. And when he's not super stressed about racing and stuff. So, it was really funny. I think my cheeks hurt. I laughed so hard. And then I also really enjoy having Hamza on. So he's my second. I think he fits well with our personalities and it's nice. I mean, maybe he's just kind of like the, shoe-in 4th host. But.
Hamza was great because not only was he had a great topic and he got to talk about it, but it was highly technical and stuff that we could not have covered ourselves. Like it was great listening to Matt last week, Pantless Matt. But, we could have, it was, we kind of knew him and knew what he was going to say. Hamza really impressed me with his technical knowledge.
Well, that's also Hamza in life.
That's true. I mean, he's got like 37 engineering degrees and,
Yeah.
Awesome. Nice wrap up. We are, like I said, we're going to do some more of this each week in the next couple of weeks. So if there's something you want to say about your favorite guest that you've heard in the past 200 episodes, my God, I hope you didn't listen to all 200 episodes. I feel sorry for you.
I know a handful of people that did.
But if you did, and
Yeah.
if you have a favorite interview topic, please tell us what it was.
And if it's Ask Me Anything show sometime soon, we want to start collecting those questions, correct?
Absolutely. So send your questions.
Great.
But we won't answer them until the AMA.
No. We'll just start collecting them.
Yes. Main topic time, a short one because we already did most of the show with some other stuff.
Wow.
The notes don't say that.
The notes don't say that.
Good job.
That's fine. Yeah, main topic. It's kind of a short one, but not a short one because you might ask me about my new car and I might start talking about it a lot. So we're talking about buying a car sight unseen. All of us have done it recently, all of us on this podcast at least, and we did it in totally different ways. And we did it in totally different markets, but a lot of the similar reasons we might find out when we talk to each other on the whys and the hows and the what fors. So, yeah, what are we going to start with? We're going to start with the Merc or the NSX?
Let's do both.
Let's do both. Do both of them together.
Yeah.
Tell us what you bought and where did you buy it?
Chrissy, you want to start with the Mercedes? Or
Yeah, let's start with the Mercedes. Yes. So, I mean, all y'all, you probably listened to our progression on what we're planning on doing. The E400 wagon Mercedes was supposed to replace the 250,000 mile chassis Mazda 3 that became the race car. So we figured out what we wanted by process of elimination. So we're really good about in our garage. I mean, I say this when we have 10,000 cars, but we usually try to have each of our cars have its own use of in our lives, right? So we wanted a wagon, long for roof for life, go long roof for life. We wanted to make sure we had a wagon because I like to be able to drive it anywhere, but I also can go to any store, load it all up, go to IKEA, buy furniture, put it all in the Mazda and bring it all home. And it was all fine. So Mazda's, the wagons are just important in our lives. And so we wanted to replace it with a wagon. That was the, hard stop that it needed to happen. So we had a couple of different options. We even went to the internet and asked for more options, and then we said no. We went back to our options. We kind of talked about this in passing and didn't really necessarily talk about how we came to get what we got. But we looked at a Jag. We looked at
Panamera.
Panamera, yes, that was kind of boring.
Oh no, the Porsche people are clutching their pearls.
Yeah.
It really was. It was the worst
boring.
driving of the three we drove.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm just like
It
not
was a
a
V6 one. It was like, eh. Yeah. I'm
it might have been.
I'm sure the V8 and Turbo S ones are much more exciting, but the normal V6 Panamera 4 was just like, eh.
And you were getting rid of the 6.3 liter AMG because you didn't want that in your daily.
No, because we were trying to go down a car.
Yeah.
We were combining the Mazda and the AMG into one car because we had too many cars, and Metal wanted it, so it made it easy.
So we had thought about a couple other cars and just had not looked at it. I axed off the Mazda 3 quickly because the hatch was just not big enough for what we wanted it to be.
We drove one too, and it wasn't quite exciting, interesting enough, and it was small.
It seems like so long ago when we decided to
tried to drive a Civic Type R. I mean, you had wide. You're casting a wide net as you decided what to get.
Yeah, hatches of all sizes. Maybe not exactly all long roofs, but we wanted to make sure. And one of our ideas was we would like to bring Chris and I, plus my parents, plus a trunk full of stuff, and be able to go to our Jersey Shore. And none of us pack light. So that was one of the kind of parameters of what we would like to be able to do with it. And we have done that. Yes, we did.
No, not yet.
No, we took their car. But yeah, so that was kind of one of the parameters of like, how much crap can we put in this? It makes me think of the Citroen about how you're supposed to travel with another couple, and you should be able to go to France or Paris and back
to the south of France.
Right.
Yes.
So we found an E4. So I decided on E400 wagon. We saw one, drove one. It was not the right color combo that we wanted, but I basically said yes to the dress. And if hopefully you know what I'm talking about. I said, yeah, I think we're going to get this. And so now it was the search for exactly what we wanted. We want the color combo. You want the interior combo. And Chris, I think you should start talking about how you went on the hunt to find the perfect car.
I just started looking like every day at what Mercedes had on their CPO site that has all what all our dealers' inventory is. That has a really incredible inventory or info because it breaks it all down by the VIN. They know exactly what options are on it, and so it's really easy to tell. So I did that, and then occasionally would check cars.com and Auto Trader. And so I was watching the market for months, and it turns out the exact thing we wanted of, blue, white, or green with a brown interior and premium 3 package was really kind of hard to find. But then eventually this one popped up in California, and we bought it at peak COVID and had it shipped. And so in a little more, we'll talk about what exactly was about this one that made us buy it. But
what was the mechanism? Was it a Mercedes CPO? Was it a Cars.com?
It was a high-end kind of independent used car dealer that had bought it wholesale from had been traded into a GMC dealer. I probably got a Suburban or something. And that dealer wholesaled it to this small used car lot. So I can say why we picked that one. Just looking at it very carefully, it looked to be in good condition from everything we could tell. We had looked at a few in person and knew where the wear spots were and didn't see any of them on this one. Carfax was clean, which is not always indicative, but it's a nice to have. And it was 25,000 miles and it was under warranty. So as long as it hadn't been crashed, anything else was going to get fixed.
Can I highlight one of the details that you were kind of adamant about? And I think it was the package. It was in the package, but when you would try to figure out if it had vented seats, when you would zoom in on the doors and try to see if it had 3 buttons.
Yeah.
To make sure that it had the vented seats.
Absolutely.
And it's just things like that is the level of detail. Yeah. And then you end up getting something that you're pretty sure you know what you get, even if it's actually sight unseen. You're only seeing the pictures. If you take the time to actually really look at the pictures, ask for more if you can. I mean, I know we might be getting this later, but that was kind of a detail that I don't know that everybody does. But this was a hard stop for you. You wanted the vented seats, so for which we use all the time. But it was a thing that you did.
Yeah. Which, you figure it out and then you start looking. But really, the car was so new that unless it's been crashed, how bad is it going to be? Like it's under warranty.
I found a few that had dents. We'd seen one actually the day, it was the weekend of COVID because they were about to shut the doors. We showed up and we were like, hey, can we drive this car? And they're like, well, we're not going anywhere near anybody because we're going to shut down right now. So we took the car. But that had a lot of dents on it. So it's one of those things sometimes you can't really see it until you really see it in the light. Yeah. And a couple dents is not a big deal, but
we had a lot of really good quality pictures from the one in California. I asked him to send me the high res versions and I did, and we put them up on the big screen and looked good. So we did it. Yeah. So should I do the same thing on the NSX now?
Sure.
Quick. So we knew we wanted something fun to replace the Z4M. We knew we wanted the top 2 come off or down, something that was not really going to depreciate anymore, something that was a modern classic. And that we wanted it to be able to go to the Cape and back reliably and just to work fairly well, and that the air conditioning would work nicely, and that it'd just be kind of a usable car. So we narrowed it down from everything we were looking at initially to a 997 turbo cab manual, an Aston Martin DB9 Volante convertible manual, which are hen's teeth, but they exist, and the NSX. And we drove.
One of these is not like the other. Yeah, the Aston would have been a terrible choice.
Oh, we know. We drove one.
It's so pretty, though. It's so pretty.
Oh, it was awful.
You said reliable.
It's so
back and forth to the Cape reliably.
It's so pretty. So we drove them all. The Aston felt like our Mercedes AMG, but not as good. Really, the Porsche was lovely, but the NSX just felt more special, I guess. And in the end, we can always keep buying another Porsche turbo cab convertible. They're still making them, but they're never making any more NSX Targas like they had originally. So we got that one.
Nice. And how did you find this specific example?
Same thing. Just scoured everywhere for months, but it was having a lot more like NSX Prime and, the used car sites looking for there. We're looking for anything that was a target top. And if we could get a 97 or newer with a 3.2 liter and 6-speed, great. If we happen to get an 02 to 05 for the right price, fantastic. And this one was popped up in Jacksonville, Florida. And the price was reasonable, looked good in the pictures. And this one, the previous owner is what sold me on the car. Nice older guy. The picture of his house that was in front of was obviously a very nice house. But in talking to him, he's like, I just have too many cars right now. And I just got this Bentley that I wanted for a long time. And, I can't get in and out
got
of the
Bentayga. Is that what he did?
No, it was Continental.
Oh, okay.
But he's like, I just can't get in and out of the NSX very well. Yeah. So that's it. And then the previous owner was a doctor in Florida. And so I called even the dealer that it was from, and they sent me all the service records. And so once I saw all that, I said, yeah, okay, this is great. And it was because it was a good deal on an 05, and the price has only gone up since then. It's been a wonderful car.
Awesome.
So,
should we do those questions with the Hyundai or finish out those two about the hardest part in the list?
You can finish out those two maybe, and then you can talk for the. You can wax ecstatic about the Veloster for as long as you want. How did the purchase happen? The NSX, I got cashier's check from the bank, and I sent the guy a picture of it ahead of time. So
that was a private sale. That's really, I think, what we're saying. Private sale. It wasn't an auction.
Yeah.
You didn't have to win an auction or anything like that.
Yep. And we
not really the mechanism of the cash. That wasn't what I was thinking.
Fine. We drove to Jacksonville, Florida with the Suburban towing the open trailer. Drove it around the guy's gated community.
We're like, it shifts okay. The radio gave us a problem, it still does. But other than that, we were like, and you can only drive 30. We're in a residential neighborhood that you can't leave. So we're like, it shifts. Sounds
everything
fine.
Looked great.
It was clean. Loaded up,
drove home. And Mercedes was small dealer and just same, just did all the paperwork, sent them a check, and found a shipping company. And 3 days after that shipping company picked the car up, it showed up here. But peak COVID, no one on the roads. I think they were just hammered down the whole way.
Yeah. And it was did it show up like a tractor trailer with 7 other things, or was it?
Yeah.
Yep. And the parking
there's a strip mall not too far from us. I directed them to that they could turn around. But it actually had a bunch of oil on the roof when it showed up because there was a 123 diesel Mercedes above it in the.
Oh.
Because ours was at the best spot. It was the very furthest one forward
towards the cab. Yeah.
Toward the cab on the bottom row. So it was, it was the most protected spot. But this old diesel Mercedes leaked a bunch of oil on the roof when we got it. Oh, well.
It's fine. It cleaned off. It wasn't gasoline or something that could have eaten the paint.
No, it cleaned up great.
Yeah. And they are both beautiful cars in beautiful condition. So yeah, I am amazed that that the Mercedes has 25,000 miles on it, because it looks
now, but
I mean, it was crisp and choice and didn't look like there was anything on it.
Yeah,
I think that's the question's not on here, but that's the funnest part. When it and I'm sure you can agree, when it shows up on the trailer and you haven't seen it and you're like, it was absolutely better than we thought it was going to be, and that's what's fun.
Yeah, if that is the case, if it's worse than you thought it was going to be,
sure,
not fun at all.
And they don't smash the front valance as they're taking it off the trailer or anything like that,
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So so you did a dealer and a private sale.
Yeah.
A independent dealer and a private sale. Both easy, no surprises, no issues. You basically went there with your finances in hand and basically handed it to them. So no extra haggling or anything like that.
The dealer in California missed one form that we needed of the title transfer between the original owner and the GMC dealer, and then them. There was a form missing that we couldn't title it, so they overnighted that to us. And
also, very fortunately, then it was COVID, so we couldn't go anywhere anyway. Things were just barely open.
Yeah,
so
we
if
your
were like,
plates were like a couple weeks later, it didn't matter.
We didn't Fortunately, California plates stay with the car for life, so it still had its California plates on it. So we drove it around on the California plates, but with all of the paperwork to say like we can't
own
register. We are not physically unable to register it. They won't let us in the building, but here, look, we have it. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Great.
All right. Why did I buy the Veloster? And I've talked a lot about it on this podcast. I was replacing a daily and a fun car.
Yeah.
So I was looking for something stick, hatch, small, fun.
Well, you haven't had like a fun car,
a speedy car in a very long time.
You know, the closest you had, the closest you had was like Miracle. That was like your fun car, and the Talon was. Sure, the Talon, I guess, was the last car that you picked because you wanted it.
Yeah, and it was turquoise, and now I have baby blue. So I don't know, maybe it's a thing of mine. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't mean to. Yeah, so it has been a long time since I've had like a fun daily. And not that the Mazda 3 wasn't fun, because the Protege 5 and the Mazda 3 were both fantastically fun cars, but I would not call them fast or quick or anything like that. They handle great, but it's not a speedster to say the least. So I test drove a lot of things, but they were all small hatchbacks with sticks. And the only thing that really even came close was the Focus ST. I did not end up driving a Fist, whatever they call it, Fiesta ST, because I could not find a Fist that was local to me to drive. But I did drive a few other things that were not really in the list. You know what I mean? Like, but you know, when you're out there driving stuff, just drive stuff. So I wanted to buy a Veloster, and I just checked my Facebook today to see how long it took me to find it. I drove a Veloster N at a Maryland dealership on January 24th. So it was almost perfectly 6 months between the time I said, yeah, that's what I'm going to buy, and actually taking delivery.
It's about how long it took us to find both the other two cars we just talked about.
Yeah.
And how long it took me to find the CLS too.
Yeah.
Back when we bought that.
I guess the word is be patient. So we all know what's happening in the used car market right now. It's absolutely insane. The prices are insane. The Velosters on the new lots are impossible to find. They're putting $3,000 to $5,000 on the sticker, and there is no way I was paying over sticker for a new car. I didn't even want a new one. So there was no reason to get a new one. But I wanted the lowest miles possible. I wanted white or blue. I had never really even seen a blue one in the flesh until the one arrived. And Chrissy, you were so right. When the Carvana van pulled up in front of me, the little truck, just like on the TV commercial, and it was in the sun, it was like 1 p.m. I was like, the blue. It is so gosh darn blue. It is like blue lasers. You saw
one at the car show.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I haven't seen them on the street.
Okay, sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Or if you see it, it's quick passing kind of thing. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. I haven't seen one outside. You know what I mean? Yeah. I saw one on a transport truck going the other way down a highway, and I was like, Jim, a blue one. He was like, should I follow it? I think we were like going to get the Miata. So anyway, so that's what it was. I looked for 6 months. I was looking on the major multiple listing sites. So it was Auto Tempest that I actually found the best way to sort by distance and sort by mileage and sort by price and stick only, because I did not want the DCT, even though I'm sure it is better, as everyone says. I want to row my own. So, I wasn't going to buy from Carvana, but I got to say, their website is amazing. There's a reason they're selling all those cars. The extremely detailed pictures, we are going to show you every scratch and tell you about everything. I mean, this had 3 imperfections listed on the Carvana site. I could only find 2 of them. Like one of them is a spec so small that I literally, if it wasn't like right above the door handle, so I knew where to locate it, I wouldn't be able to locate it.
Well,
So
1,400 miles. Like you hope it's
you
pretty much-
hope,
right?
yeah. But
Yeah.
their level of detail was this on all of them. So again, I have the Carfax was right. You could click on the Carfax. They have a 7-day test drive, but you can't test drive it. This is their deal. You can't go to the dealer if it's local and check it out. They say, buy it and we will bring it to you. And you have 7 days to get your money back. And the second you push the yes, I will buy this, the clock starts ticking to have all of your paperwork in all of your ducks in a row. And somebody once said that it was like somebody said it was as easy as buying off of Amazon. It is not. There are some tactics that the Carvana website uses to try and convince you to use their financing versus your financing. So you had to actually look to where it say, no, I already have my financing in place, so there a couple little things. And I wouldn't say it was underhanded. It was just like, they throw a question at you with 2 answers and you're like, neither of those are the answer that I want. And you basically have to find the more options button to find the things you want. So there's a little bit of internet trickery on their website that I was not too thrilled with. And when you call them, you have to wait a long time on the phone. So the problems that I was having were not Carvana related as much as they were my credit union related. And my credit union. Okay. So I purchased this the Wednesday before July 4th weekend, and the clock started ticking and my credit union was like, yeah, we're closed for the weekend. So I had to drive to Trenton, New Jersey to stand in a hella long line to get my check so that I could scan the check. If I was at a dealership, I could have handed them $500 and they would have held it for 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
This is not what Carvana does. You have to have all of your ducks in a row, and they keep threatening, or else we're going to put it back on the market, or else you're going to lose it and have to redo all the paperwork, and then it's open for everyone. So the hoops that I had to jump through to get all of my paperwork in a row was actually very difficult. And they even today, they still haven't figured out how to suck the money out of my bank account for the down payment. So I had to call my credit union and be like, I don't know what their problem is. Now I need to do a wire transfer. So, So, we went to a Tesla dealer. I found that they were much more willing to service the internet purchase process than Carvana, whose entire thing is internet selling of cars. So the car was excellent. The site was excellent. The details were excellent. I felt very comfortable making the purchase, but the service between, yes, I will buy this, and the time that it showed up was difficult. I spent an entire day on different holds. I can sing the Carvana hold music in my brain right now. And they were always pleasant, and but it just wasn't as smooth as, I when I bought my truck from a local used car dealer, because as soon as I put cash in his hand, it was my truck to then make sure I can get my stuff together.
Yeah.
So,
interesting.
But other than that, the car is flipping fantastic. So, and I am still within a couple of days of my 7-day return. So if, and they will also let you trade it for a different car on Carvana, as long as you don't put more than 400 miles on it, which I think I'm over already. I don't know.
Too late.
Look. Yeah. I'm already over 140 on it. Oh, that's not miles. That's miles per hour.
It's fine. It was in Mexico, right?
It was in Mexico. It's absolutely Mexico.
The next question that for asked for all of these is, why didn't we get these locally?
There was one locally at a local dealer, and literally talking to a dealer made me vomit in my mouth a little.
Especially a Hyundai dealer, they're not known for their great service.
The one that I drove, the one in January that I drove, was at a Hyundai dealer, And I may have told this story in the podcast, so I apologize. It was like a 4,000 mile vehicle, and they had like $3,000 in like restoration, or I can't remember, like dealer preparing. And I said, it's 4,000 mile car. What are you preparing? And the salesman was like, oh, well, that's a state law. We have to do that. And then when like the manager came over to run prices, I was like, your price is nuts, dude. I mean, you can run prices, but I'm probably not buying this today because I already think it's too pricey. And he said, well, what if I took off the $3,000 reconditioning fee? I'm like, that mother effer right there just said state law. And like, I was immediately like turned off completely by the deal. Like I said, I have never had a good moment with a dealership where I didn't say you were an asshole, like almost directly to their face.
We did at the Honda dealer.
Pretty much. But
Yeah.
But buying the Mercedes was really easy. They were really nice to deal with the whole time. And I should say the whole process of buying a luxury car, the dealers are just nicer.
You absolutely could be true, because I have never bought from a luxury dealer.
Nicer, like the people at the Jag dealer, great. Like, the Mercedes dealers, we went to several, so nice, no problem, very little. I mean, they ask for the sale, but they do it very professionally and nicely. Like, they're great. Yeah,
the local internet guys I bought the trucks from, not the internet guys, the local dealer, the independent used car lots that I bought both of my trucks from were absolutely fine.
Yeah.
It's just, if it has a car manufacturer logo on the building, I'm already choking on it.
Yeah. Try fancy ones. They seem to be nicer.
I can't afford fancy cars. I have a racing addiction.
Yeah. I don't know what that's like. All right. So we didn't get ours locally? Because they don't exist locally. Like, there's only so many NSXs for sale at any time. We were looking for the right one.
And we did drive an E400. We went to Harrisburgish.
Yeah.
But it wasn't our colors. So, and also fairly hard to find, but also we were picky about the options and the colors. So
then we drove the other blue one right before we bought ours. We drove that other blue one you talked about earlier, right when COVID was starting. So we we would have been okay with local, but the one we got was a better condition, better price. California car. Can't go wrong with California cars.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is there any like piece of advice out there other than go to better dealers that you would give to someone who's thinking about purchasing sight unseen?
Be patient, and don't be afraid to say no to the wrong car. You get kind of excited, like maybe this is it, and you kind of push it through instead of no. Wait for the right car to come along. Everyone always, you guys, everybody always says, oh, Chris, how do the cars we buy always are good. And that's why, we don't rush into it, because we don't need to. Usually we wait for the right car, and then you pull the trigger quickly when the right car is there.
Yeah, that's absolutely my experience. There were 15 cars a week, 15 Hyundai Velocitors a week that I saw popping up on the whatever. What the heck was I? What did I say? I was looking at
Auto Tempest.
Auto Tempest, and half of them were Carvana cars. Carvana really does have the slightly used car market cornered.
So why did you pick this one? We didn't talk about that.
Oh, the super low models blue with a price that was right. So it's a performance pack. Anything that didn't have a performance pack was immediately written off. Anything
that should have been standard from the start.
Yes,
come on.
Yeah, should have been. And in 2021 they are standard. Like they don't offer the non-performance pack anymore. So it had to have a performance pack, and it had to be priced right, and they were basically the same price as things that had 20,000 miles on it. And with a stick car, I would rather have the lowest miles possible.
Especially a car that is likely to be hooned by
Yes. Right. And the Carfax was really interesting. It had been purchased like right before COVID, and it got like no miles on it. I can only assume that the guy who I assume guy, I don't want to assume male, the person who bought it was made an offer more than he purchased it for, because the price has gone up. In 2020, the sticker was $5,000 less than the sticker was in 2021, and they're getting near sticker. So
yeah,
I assume he walked into a Hyundai dealership, bought either a DCT or a Sonata or whatever, bought something else, and was given more money than he actually paid for it.
Cool. All right. Yeah. So we know the hardest part of yours was the financing. Easiest part was actually the buying. So,
yeah, the buying and the delivery was really
Yeah.
easy. Like finding it, searching for it, making sure it was the right one. Like I said, their site was really, really good. You know, zoom in on any picture, look at every single wheel. I mean, I could read the tires in the pictures, so I knew that it still had the original set of tires on it. And they
Excellent.
showed how many millimeters or whatever it is. Not
Tread.
tread.
30
They
seconds.
should, yeah, 30 seconds. They all still had 9 30 seconds or more was part of the Carvana promise. And I was worried that they transferred them out because it's a Hyundai Veloster N specific P0,
Yeah.
which I can't wait to get rid of and probably get 18-inch tires, because 19s will eat me out of house and home. So
But for now, they're so cool.
they are very nice, and it's like every so my Mazda 3 was a 2012, and it was, you know, a moderately less expensive car. I think the sticker on it was like 19. I think I paid 20 when I put a couple options on it. Like Apple CarPlay and having a backup camera and having ice cold air conditioning. How much I missed ice cold air conditioning.
Well, you could have had that in your other car. You just had to fix it.
I know, but it was like, you know,
Why
like
you got rid of it? Yeah.
the and the key gauze on the Veloster N are crazy. Like the amount of settings and suspension settings are just insane, and I'm still not even sure I have them all right. I'm discovering stuff every day. So,
Well, we'll see it this weekend.
yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'd say sum up. Don't worry about buying a car from a long way away, but do it the right way.
And don't think you have to take any crap from any local dealer. They all have internet departments, and they will all sell you without walking in the building.
Especially now.
Nobody wants to talk to anybody. The best part about COVID was taking test drives without anyone in there.
Yeah. Good times.
All right. Have we done the topic? Can
I
we
think
move
so.
on?
Yeah.
Is this just the tip, Chrissy? I'm reading your notes. Is this a safety tip, or is this?
I think it's safety related. I wrote it.
Safety release. Okay.
It's safety related. It's financial safety.
Okay.
And it's on topic.
Sure. Then I will say, just
The tip.
I'm sorry. Is this all me?
Sure. Why not?
Okay, great.
Or not. Or I'll do.
But-
How about it? We'll split it up.
Okay, great. I'll start out because it's pink. Online buying can be a hot mess. Don't be one of the people that falls for the typical too good to be true deals online. Here are some info straight from the FBI on how to avoid scams.
Anything that says interesting trades, you don't want it. Never mind. So fake advertisements are out there a lot. They include photos matching the description of the vehicle and a phone number or an email address to contact the supposed seller. But once contact is established, the criminal sends the intended buyer additional photos along with the discounted price, and some sort of urgency for the transaction. If the first thing they say is, "Oh my God, I need to get rid of this right now. I'm being deployed in the military and it needs to go," or "I just got a divorce and it needs to be gone today and I need the money today. Send me the money now." If they are forcing you to send the money now, that is probably a good reason to be wary. Especially if it's always like, it's never their car. I'm selling this for my brother who's in the hospital, who's having a cart replacement, or they just died and I need to get rid of it. Smell that? It's a scam.
Yeah. Anything where they pay you extra for the shipping and send you just send me the difference. Oh, no problem. Yeah. All right. So some tips from the FBI for avoiding fraudulent online vehicle sales. If it appears to be too good to be true, it probably is. Yep. Use the internet to research the advertised item and the seller's name, email address, telephone numbers, and other unique identifiers. Make sure it's theirs. Use the internet to research the company's contact information and its shipping and payment policies before you complete a transaction. Ensure the legitimacy of the contact information and that the company accepts the requested payment option. Like, no, we're not going to take payment at Amazon gift cards for this thing. What's wrong with you? Like, right? Yeah. Avoid sellers who refuse to meet in person or who refuse to allow the buyer to physically inspect the car before purchase. Yep. Ask for the VIN, license plate, name of the person who is currently registered to, or hey, a picture of the title is a great way to go. That's what we actually got with the NSX. He sent us a picture of the title. I sent him a picture of the checks. All right.
I had uploaded front and back of check to Carvana, and they did a 3-way phone call with my bank to approve to make sure the funds were in place.
Yep.
But they did not take the money until the day I took delivery.
Good. And lastly, criminals take extra effort to disguise themselves and may have recognizable words in their email or domain. If you're suspicious or unsure about an email that claims to be from a legitimate business, locate the business online and contact them directly. Don't click on stuff in emails that you aren't sure of, folks.
That's good internet safety in general.
It is. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
and I think all of us used a reputable third party for our purchase. Like, how did you find the NSX? Was it on
Auto Trader?
Auto Trader. So yeah. And then you drove to his house.
Yeah. Yep.
So
and moved the one Porsche out of the way and then looked at the other Porsche and the Bentley and then the Mercedes he had to put in the street so we could get in there. Yeah. I felt okay about that one.
yeah, you're probably okay with that.
It's kind of guy you want to buy a supercar for.
Awesome. Hey, if any of you have any tips out there for buying a car or any scam stories, we would love to hear them and include them next week in our listener feedback. So if you ever got taken, and no, Donnie, I don't mean because you bought a rust bucket and it was an actual rust bucket. If anybody's got any good stories, hit us up on the social media or on the email, everyone.racers@gmail.com. Next show promo. Do we know what we're doing next week?
No.
Yes.
Oh wait,
yes.
no, we
do?
We do. Yes. Well, this is going to be news for the person that we want to have on the show, but I think it'll work. We're going to wrap up our Pit Race HPDE.
Oh yes,
because that's where we're going this weekend. And we hey Bill, you heard it here first. We'd like to have you on the show, Bill.
Oh, your
guest
favorite
host
guest
to help talk about the HPDE weekend we had.
Did I mention that I was on Bill's podcast talking about Marvel stuff? Did that come up at all?
No.
Okay, right before I left for scout camp, me and Josh, my 13-year-old, were on his podcast talking about WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier, and we had all seen the new Black Widow movie. So, and we talked about Loki too. So yeah, check out the Garage Heroes in Training podcast.
Excellent.
Cool.
I'm supposed to have the music ready, and I totally don't because I wasn't paying attention.
Well,
See, I take a week off, and then I forget what I'm doing.
200 times you've done 200.
I probably only did it like 180 times.
180. 200 sounds better.
200 does sound
200.
Here comes the music.
Times.
It's coming up. Whew. Worst part, everybody, is I designed the show. I'm the one that said we'll have music over the intro and the outro. Thank you for downloading us, and we hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers and Everyone Car Purchasers. We hope you'll join us in the world of driving, racing, and building, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It is totally free. And hey, what? If you're listening and you listen on the podcast feed, go to YouTube and hit the subscribe button from all of your accounts. I'm trying to get the subscriber buttons the subscriber numbers up on YouTube because you get things when you can do more things when you have more subscribers. So go subscribe. Even if you hate us, give us 5 stars. Tell us why. If you're listening on YouTube, watching on YouTube, write some comments down there on the doodly doo. Yeah, all that stuff. If you have any show ideas or want to tell us about a car purchase you made, drop us an email. Everyone.racers
Two
at
hundred shows.
gmail.com.
100 shows.
200 shows.
I had to actually look down. You can still text us 484-243-0455, but it's going to go to Mental, and he's like out in the field somewhere looking at planes and stuff. Find us on Instagram or Twitter, where you can also talk to Mental, who won't be on the show. Oh my gosh, the music ran out. This is horrible.
100
shows. I know, I'm aware. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, so Mental won't be back next week, but he will be back for show 204, where we're going to do the Ask Me Anything. Also watch the YouTube and the Instagrams for this weekend while we're at Pit Race, because I'm sure we're going to be doing some trackside stuff. Yeah, it's everyone.racers on the Instagram and the Twitters. Thanks again, and until next week, keep the shiny side up, especially if it's that Gulf Blue Hyundai that just passed you, and keep those wheels down.